Welcome to this episode of the Pain and the Purpose podcast. I'm the host, Darrin Bedford, and today we're going to do another first. Today we're going to do the first episode of me bringing professionals on to the platform to help the community process through this grief. I know we have a lot of conversations around grief, trauma, and adversity. So today I'm going to actually introduce you to someone that you may not know who's going to help us process through this. Welcome, Mr. DB Bedford, the EI guy.
What up, bro?
So as the platform begins to grow and elevate, and people are actually coming to me and stopping me in traffic, I'm like, what better way than to introduce them to the person who helps me process this on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? So it's bigger than just conversations.
Yeah.
I gotta start helping, like giving them tangible tools. And what better way to start than the person that keep me off the ledge the most.
That's what's up. It's all good.
So within the last year, we went from emotional intelligence to civilian intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired that shift?
It's a good question. It's still rooted in emotional intelligence. It was more of recognizing that civility and incivility is what I've been addressing the whole time. I didn't know what to call it. And so when I noticed this organization that was putting a very huge campaign around incivility in the workplace, I was like, that's what I've been doing. And it gave me a name for it in terms of civility versus incivility. And then I started just being the creator, you know what I'm saying, and branding person that I am. I just took a deep dive into it. And I recognized that no one had took the position on it. So when I first learned about emotional intelligence, it was around 2014. There were already people who had taken a position on emotional intelligence. I got known for it as the EI guy because culturally, though, there was no one that was like a face of it. And so I think that's why a lot of people in our community think I made up emotional intelligence, or they give me credit. It's only because it's the first place they heard it. But that had been around already since about 94, 95, and it was coined by Daniel Goleman and Travis Bradberry and other people who get the recognition of being kind of, if you want to say, the godfathers, right, or the thought leaders of it. And a lot of time in business, we got the product, we get the service, but we don't get the position. And so I was like, I wonder if civility intelligence can be a thing, right? So first I matched the words, emotional, the syllables. Emotional intelligence, I'm like, well, that's long, and people say it. So I'm like, I think I could do civility intelligence. And so then I did the research. I reached out to my trademark attorney and asked her, is it something we can go for? And nobody had claimed it. And then I started doing some deep research, and nobody had actually, it was one person used the word in an article before, but nobody was making it as if it was an actual thing. So I said, oh, here's my opportunity after all the work I've been putting in and raising awareness about the importance about managing your emotions, processing your reactions. I have a new opportunity to start to trailblaze and leave a legacy of encouraging people to be responsible for their behavior, the act of what they do next when they get emotionally charged about something. So that's how we kind of came up with it.
All right, that leads me to the next question. What is civilian intelligence?
Excellent question, right? So civilian intelligence, I've coined it as a combination of behavior observation, temperament theory, which is rooted in personality strengths, and our EI code of conduct. So I believe the combination of them both, if you're always observing your behavior and the behavior of others, if you understand your personality style and you're governed by our principles of EI code and conduct, that's civility intelligence. I feel like it's literally impossible to be uncivil if you are practicing those things right there.
All right. What are your thoughts, or do you think that a leader that is trying to process something heavy, such as a grief, a trauma, a personal adversity, does that affect their leadership?
Being civil, or
Does that affect just their leadership styles? Period. Does it affect them being civil? Does it affect the way that they lead their team?
if someone's processing grief?
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you're coming to work, or you're getting in front of your team with this thing on your mind and your spirit, whatever this trauma, this tragedy has happened. It's definitely going to have an impact, especially if you don't have the skill to understand what to do with that feeling, right? And I think that's where the skill comes in. That there's always going to be thought-provoking or emotionally charged events in our life. None of us are exempt from pain. Pain is universal. It's going to happen to all of us. And we don't get to choose how it happens. We would like to, but we don't. And so when it hits like a ton of bricks. And we don't spend enough time on what to do with those bricks when we get hit with it. And that's why we're here.
So, someone like myself, trying to process the heavy pain and grief. I know what you've normally told me, but for the audience, what is based on one of the principles, what is something that you can share that'll help somebody?
So before I answer that, I'm gonna put it back on you. What is one principle that because you are actually going through it? I could say anything, but we are actually going through it, but you have to actually practice something
daily
to even be here. So I would put that back on you. What are you using? And then I'll commentate on it.
So I always go to Control Alt Delete or the Purposeful Pause.
Go back to Control Alt Delete to break it down.
Control Alt Delete is for me is control my surroundings, come up with an alternate or alternative solution to whatever's going on, and then I'm able to choose what I can delete or what I need to process deeper. So in the case of me going to work, and it just happened to me yesterday, I had to use the Control Alt Delete and the Purposeful Pause, because the coworker that tried to get me fired when I got into it with him, right? Now he just hell bent on being my friend.
And you have that you're still working on that. Oh, I already know.
And so I'm looking at him, and I'm laughing at him, and I'm like, we don't need to be friends. There is nothing about us that needs to be in community together. I said, and I literally told him, I said, my only job here is to say hi and bye and keep it cordial. We will never be cool again because I let you in your first opportunity, you backstabbed me and you tried to get me fired. We don't never have to talk. And he like, well, you have to turn your radio on. I said, no, that's me deleting you out my workspace. If I had this radio on in the truck, you get to talk to me or say something to me. So I just turn the radio off. And he's still going. And so I just stick my hands in my pocket, because the sleep train, when I got fired for being aggressive, I stick my hands in my pocket and I just smile at him and I'm like, have a good day. And then I just go quiet. And then he just look at me. And I just turn away. So that was the Control Alt Delete in the Purposeful Pause all in one. So my go-to is Control Alt Delete and the Purposeful Pause. And like I tell other people, the stronger the emotion, the longer the pause should be. This pause is gonna be the rest of our work life. You know what I mean? As long as we have to work together, we're not gonna be cool. But every Saturday we work together because during the week I'm work on nights, he work on days. On Saturdays he's right behind me. He just come in trying to be friends, and he even bought an old school.
Like y'all gonna ride out together.
And not even ride out, but he just want to ask me questions. I'm like, I'm not a mechanic.
All right, so let me put some context around these principles that are your go-tos. That's super funny. So Control Alt Delete was a concept that I put together. I didn't make it up. I seen it years ago, like on some pillows. Like somebody had put it on some. I don't know where I seen it at, but in the practice of helping people manage their emotions, the idea of on your computer, if you want to reboot your computer, right? Say your computer's having problems, if you needed to force it to shut down, you hit Control Alt Delete. And so that to me was like, oh, that's dope. I'm like, there are times we need to force ourselves into a reboot. And I put it under the emotional reboot, right? Use the Control Alt Delete. So the part that I didn't create was the control your situation, control your thoughts, control your issues, look for alternatives and delete the negativity. I had already seen that somewhere. But the reframing of it under the emotional reboot is where I started to leverage it. And so I think it's a very good principle and concept. And the important thing to remember about that, it's usually when you have to force yourself because you usually don't want to, right? So even your computer's stuck, spinning, won't download or something, it just won't do the thing. So you have to Control Alt Delete. So sometimes you're not going to want to do the thing. So the Control Alt Delete is supposed to give you a reset. And the purposeful pause is that me realizing that my better decisions, and I would say my best ones, will usually come if I stop and think before I take action. And so the purposeful pause was like, and I put the word purposeful. The pause is not, of course, pause a radio, pause. Yeah. It's not new. The purposeful is the part that I added because you should do it with intention. I want you to be intentional about putting space in between your responses. And why do we want to do that? Because we don't want to let our emotions overpower our intelligence. We don't want the strong feeling, right? So I love that strong feeling, longer pause. We don't want to let the strong feeling that you have about something overpower your wisdom that you harness, that can get lost, and then you do something out of that emotion.
That's basically what I was doing yesterday.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like you did, you get a job, and you gravitate to the concept of relationship management. A couple of times you've referenced it, and that's relationship management. You're saying that the relationship that you have to have professionally, right? I want to manage. The best way to manage this is that you just leave it at professionalism at work, right? Because your behavior and your actions prior to this, I'm still unsettled with that. And so I have enough. I'm being civil. This is you. I'm speaking for you. You're being civil, right? That's what civility intelligence is about. You're being civil, meaning you're choosing to still be respectful and courteous, even though you feel like smacking the hell out of him. Even though you'd like to meet him outside if you could, right? Even though, because if you let the feeling of he's trying to jeopardize your livelihood and this stuff, you start letting that grow, then it can drive you to that uncivil part of you. And so at EI 365, our mission is to promote civility and neutralize incivility. So those thoughts that would cause us to do stuff we know we ain't got no business doing, we want to neutralize that. Just put a stop, and give yourself a fair opportunity to make a better decision as you process the feelings later. So many times we make the decision having processed the feelings, and then that's why afterwards you feel like crap because you're like, damn, could have did that better. I shouldn't have did that. I could have avoided that. Whatever. we're not always 100% proud. Sometimes it feels good in the moment, but we're not always proud of the decisions we make when we're emotionally charged.
And I think those are two good principles and to live by. And if you're a leader or you're just a human, period, like those are two principles that to live by. You've been doing this for over a decade now.
Yeah, damn. Yeah.
You've been doing this for over a decade now. How have you seen the workplace like evolve?
That's good. So what we notice is that people who are intentional about how they show up, they take responsibility for their adult behavior. Like they realize that they are responsible for how they behave, no matter how they're feeling. You start seeing a more cohesive workplace. You see complaints and grievances go down. You see people stay in their positions longer because conflict is inevitable, right? Because when we talk about, I talked about the temperament theory, the personality. People have different. We have different personality styles. We have different ways of approaching things in all aspects of life. When you learn about those styles and you get an understanding of that, you don't take things so personal, right? So it's even like you and I, you go about things much different than I do. And you just said it before the cameras came on, you was like, I'm trying to tell you to do something one way, and you're like, different personality styles, right? And that's just saying, yeah, that's probably a way to do it, but this way I feel better, right? Knowing that the thing we're talking about, right? And so, and me accepting that, right? Now, most people don't even realize the value of that is neutralizing any potential conflict. Because a lot of times people want people to do something, they just keep saying, but you should, and you start projecting, which is one of our principles, right? Under emotional biases. People use projection bias all the time. Every time we see something, hear something, if it's not in alignment with what we do, we try to put it off on others, right? And then when that person goes, well, that's not how I do it, then they shoot it back to you. So you project it, they reject it, right? And now you got this inner conflict going on because you really want to see somebody do the things that you do. And so this school of thought of being civil, managing your emotions, and being a good steward of your behavior is something I think that we should never lose sight of, because it's so easy to get knocked off your square, because the world will give you plenty of things to make you want to smack the hell out of somebody.
Especially when you carrying the heavy weight of grief. Like your bearings are discombobulated. And so that's why you the first.
Yeah.
That's another reason why you the first person that I wanted to bring on and share like real life tangible tools and a real life strategy, because I actually use this in my day-to-day life, right? Because if I didn't have emotional intelligence or civility intelligence and I hadn't been listening to you since 2014 begrudgingly, right? And we've talked about this before because you just big bro. So
I don't know why they listen to you. This fool told me, man, I don't know why they listen to you, man. Like, I said one day you'll get it.
Because I've been having to listen to you my whole life.
True.
So naturally, I would, like, even when I pay for the first iteration of the program, and you was like, it costs this much, and I just sent you the money.
Yeah. I was like, that's dope. I mean, you know what it did? That made me feel, I don't know, regardless of why you did it, but to me that was a gesture of that you believe in me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that, it wasn't even the money. It was like, damn, my brother really believed in me, so he's gonna invest in this thing that I created. So that, I don't think I ever gave you the, like, that meant a lot to me.
So it was both of those, right? But then 2 years ago we on a cruise, and you look at the thing, and you like, You ain't opened it up.
Oh yeah.
Which made me go into open it up.
I forgot about that.
But I say that to say that.
But you're not the only one. A lot of people do that.
No, but I say that to say that even though I said I wasn't listening, and I actually thought at some points that I wasn't listening, had it not been for the teachings, I wouldn't have internalized it and been able to pull from it when I needed it most.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So I think about that because I always give you a hard time. Like
I got proof. I actually got you on camera a couple of times giving me a hard time.
And not only that, you've had to come pick me up from jail with one shoe on and grass in my hair.
I had. It's a true statement.
And you like,
what? Like what? What are you doing?
like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And so I understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the value in it, and I'm actually using the tools.
Yeah, bruh. So we talk about the grievance too, but I think, and you also utilize the power perspective a lot too, right? Because you have to be able to allow another perspective in. And the reason why it's called the power, and the words are very important. Like me intentionally crafting these 11 principles, I was very thoughtful of each one of them and how they can actually help someone in the moment. So I put the word power of perspective because that's what it's going to take, right? You're going to need some willpower, right, to be able to be open to another way of looking at something when something is happening to you. And it's not easy.
Not at all.
Not at all, but that's why it's a skill. Every time someone says to me, man, that ain't easy, but I'm like, I know. It's what's a skill, right? I know it's not, right? You know what I mean? And I think about you a lot in this scenario that we've been presented with Nanah, and being your brother, right, and your big brother, so hard for me to choose how to handle. It's easier now because you're doing work on yourself, but early on, it was so hard to not. And I had thought about this before I got here. I can't even find the words right now, but it was just like, man, that shit was heavy. Still heavy.
Still heavy.
It was heavy in that moment, being out there that night and knowing I'm the only voice of reason and trying to handle that responsibly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not blow it, because we were just healing off how siblings do, right? We wasn't 100 for a little while.
Yeah.
So we had just kind of got over that and getting some momentum, and I gotta still, right? So there's so much I want to say and do, and I was very, very, very thankful for the work we had done prior. And I think, and I'm saying that to say, because you said it, right, to be able to be listening prior to and then internalizing. And I'm saying the work we put in prior to prepared me to be able to say the things with the right timing, and prepared you to hear them, right, without taking it personal, right? Because I had to say a couple of tough things to you that night and ever since then, including with our walks, this podcast, leaving early, there's a lot of things that I had to, and I say not to say, for people who are listening, you got to start putting in the work, because you're going to get your opportunity to test. Remember, I used to say to you all the time, when you be ready to go crash out, I'd be like, bro, like, you don't get opportunity to be everything you say you are. Like, if you keep saying, I'm about like you go. Don't worry about it. You're gonna. But is that what you want to do? And I feel like a lot of times people don't take the value of what we do here until it's after the fact. Like people come to you like with the lights and sirens on, right, and no preparation. People come to me, they make huge mistakes, right, but they've been watching the whole time but not preparing. And so I would just tell anybody who's listening, it's a heavy statement, but you can get your opportunity to grieve. Whoever you are and wherever somebody's on their journey, life is going to guarantee you're going to have your opportunity to grieve over someone. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you listen to this pain and the purpose, if you start paying attention now, when that moment comes, right, you will be better equipped to handle it. And that's just what the benefit of you sparking this movement. You're giving people that's in it an opportunity, and there are people who are going to experience it, and if they pay attention now, it'll just will be so much help. It's not gonna hurt, that's for sure. If you start practicing civility intelligence, you start managing your emotions, when those micro moments in life happen, it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to amplify and optimize your decision making, your ability to process the things that are inevitable.
Yeah, that just reminded me that we just had this conversation less than a week ago. You called me and you was like, "Bro, I see it." Like the woman who called you and said her mom had just passed the night before.
Yes.
And then I talked to her. She hasn't returned my call, but I'll try to reach out to her again today. But
it's early.
Yeah, it's early.
Early phases.
It's early phases, and I know that in the early phases, people don't know what to do. But I was thankful that podcast caught her at the right time and allowed her to decompress in a moment, because verbatim per her testimony that I posted, she was ready to crash out.
Man, let me tell you. So let me put that in context. I'm at home working in a chair like this, laptop in my lap, and my wife comes. I can hear her on the phone. She's on speakerphone, but I hear her coming closer, and I hear her going, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, because I want him to hear this. And so maybe she's sharing with my wife. My wife comes in, she pulls up the side of the chair, and just like, okay, say it again, like just hijacks what I'm doing, right? And then she comes on, and you can hear the jitter and the like this thing is. She said, my mom passed last night, and she went on to talk about the Pain and the Purpose podcast. Seeing you and I have a conversation, it gave her, I don't want to say she gave her life, but she used the words, it gave her the insights to be able to process what just happened. And I think she said that she was bringing the podcast segment in front of her sons to help it speak for her.
Yeah, she told me that.
I want to say she said something like that. And so, yeah. And so, man, I was like, you know what I mean? That, like, that's why we make the sacrifice. And you know what I'm saying? To do what we do. Go ahead.
That along with over the last like 6 months, I've had several situations where people have stopped me in the airport or stopped me and thank you. It's giving me the courage and the not only just the courage, but the power. Yeah. You know what I mean? To just keep going. And it's actually making me dive deeper. And that's how come we sitting here now. Instead of just having a regular conversation about what we're going through, actually beginning to give like the tangible tools, tips, and strategies that someone can use.
Yeah, but I'm gonna push back on you a little bit. That, you know, Emilio, my guy, Emilio, my business partner, he'll say, I'm gonna arm wrestle with you on that a little bit, right? And because you do give people skills. Like you did an episode, or I called a segment. I didn't see the whole episode when you were like, you were talking about this time of year. Your holidays ain't.
Yeah, holidays ain't happy for everybody.
Happy for everybody, right? That right there is a bar, because if you're not in the midst of this, you out shopping. You thinking about you big tree or however you celebrate. Like you're in celebration mode. You're like happy. We're using the word.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. But there's a whole community of people who ain't happy and is not merry for them. Brother, that's deep. Like you helped both sides of the coin. Yeah. You gave a voice to those who probably didn't know how to say it, so they just didn't say nothing to themselves, and you raised awareness, right? Like all we're saying is that be mindful, right? Before you throw me in that group text, right? Like,
don't throw me in the group text.
Think about the people, right? So you giving people an opportunity to think things through, which is just as deep as any principle I can create, any tools, tactics, and strategies, like you said. We're talking real life insight and wisdom that you're giving. You're helping people. Back to the word, part of the emotional intelligence you like, relationship management. You're helping people. You're giving them opportunity to have a better relationship, because they could be damaging a relationship and not knowing by trying to, hey, we're having celebrating over here. We'll come through. You come through, and you like, nah, I'm gonna sit this one out. Come on, like boom, and they're pushing. They think they're helping you. They don't even know that they're hurting, and they don't even know that I just need this moment. You know what I'm saying? That you just won't understand. And everybody, again, will have the opportunity, and everybody's will be different. But in this moment right here, I need it. And when I'm ready, I'll show up. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like saying, the arm wrestle was like, I appreciate the reverence, right? But bruh, you doing some real good work, and yeah, man, and Nanah's proud of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? She talking big shit wherever her spirit is at. Yeah. She like, you know what I'm saying, and her spunky and spicy, you know what I'm saying, vibe. You know, Nanah is like, her spirit is glowing, you know what I'm saying, seeing what you are turned. Pain and the purpose is such, you know what I'm saying, the perfect way to describe, right, what's happening in the Bedford family. You know what I mean? Like turning this, and also turning our own past behaviors and decisions into purposeful stuff. I'm only the EI guy because I was not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because of the things that I do and how I handle things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've overreacted with you. You know what I'm saying? In times, you know what I mean? And we laugh about it now, but it's not okay. You know what I'm saying?
I'll get my tooth fixed every now and
we
again.
Ain't asked for details are sketchy. Details are sketchy. But as a big brother, the way I've overreacted to things, right, is why I am, you know what I'm saying? Like the sacrifice, right, of the things that we've had to go through has positioned me like, you know what, if we can shorten the learning curve, you know what I'm saying, for someone else, if we could help. And so, you know, I Kanye'd the mic. I'm gonna give it back to you.
Nah, I mean, I think that is, that's probably the perfect close to the episode. But before we get out of here, tell them how they can get in contact with you if they happen to be a leader that needs some civility intelligence for their workplace.
For sure. If you're a leader, but not even just a leader, you may be in a work environment that you're just like, it's wild up in here, you know. I think the easiest thing for anybody to do that's curious about what I'm doing is to go to civilityindex.com and take the civility assessment. And the reason why I'm saying that, because that qualifies if you even need to have a conversation with me, because I only specialize in workplace incivility. I don't, I don't have the time to do one-on-ones or groups, so I don't have that capacity. So that's where my focus is at. But if you're in a work environment or an organizational environment and you think that you are experiencing incivility, what is that? Incivility are behaviors like rude and disrespectful behavior, gossiping, people overreacting without thinking, people judging too quickly, people not speaking, silent tension, emotional disconnection. If any of that sound familiar, I would encourage you, number one, to take the Civility Index, and I would encourage you to share the Civility Index with your manager, your leader. So it's a 21 behavior observation assessment. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it will help you understand, are you in an environment that can benefit from civility intelligence? So civilityinindex.com.
And with that being said, this has been a lovely edition of the Pain and Purpose podcast. I'm the host, Darrin Bedford. Until next time, peace.